split it down there and then bent that across and got that really close fit in there. So that's what we've got to make. We've got to copy this basically.
Hello and welcome back. With a project like this, one of the great things is taking your inspiration from others. And we've been really fortunate in meeting so many interesting, inspiring and fantastic people along the way. And in this episode we're going to be visiting a superb restoration by Nick Gates in Emsworth of a Morgan Giles classic. But first, more about that brasswork on the transom. And the idea is that there is a kind of traveller that runs along the top of the transom, and the tiller will go through here. It turns out that the hole that I've made for that I actually miscalculated, and it should be larger than that, so that's got to be enlarged. And this kind of bronze contraption here is something I've got to make. This one is off of Odette and it doesn't fit this boat anyway, and we wouldn't want to use this because we want it for the other boat, for Odette. Highly accurate old paint pot to get the curve. Richard Palmer of the Morgan Giles Heritage Foundation has a fantastic collection of Morgan Giles classics, and we went to visit one in Emsworth where it had been restored by Nick Gates.
So we're with Richard, and this is Clover. And what age is Clover?
Clover was built in 1930, but she's a International 14, and I've had her a few years now, and with Nick Gates we've managed to get her back into pretty much original condition. She's really an antique, but we're going to race her later this year down in Torquay at the Classic Regatta down there, and hopefully it's not going to be blowing a gale, hopefully. But some interesting parts.
Yeah, so in particular, there's some lovely fittings and some unusual fittings as well, some beautiful brass fittings. Maybe, yeah, if you could talk us through some of them, that'd be
the
great.
buoyancy tanks. In those days, they didn't have plastic and foam and things like that, so we've got a couple of the original buoyancy tanks.
And Richard, these two buoyancy tanks, are they enough to keep her afloat if she goes over, or do you need extra?
That's a very
Or have you not
interesting
tested that yet?
question. We haven't tested that, and we'd like to think that we wouldn't have to, but you never know with these racing machines, because she is a racing machine.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have the winch here, and the winch is a special design, a Morgan Giles special design, and they made them at the yard. All of the Morgan Giles dinghies have them, and of course they're on a 10-to-1 ratio for pulling up the very heavy keel that some of these have.
These things intrigue me, these bamboo things. So can you talk us through this? What's going on here?
Well, on the rigging, the stays are like piano wire. So if you're leaning out and you hold on to the stay, you're going to cut your hands. So what we have is a bamboo hinged holder here, so they'll be sitting out, hanging onto here, and as soon as you go about, it falls out of the way. And these are original, maybe not the bamboo, but if you look here, the fitting, that is what it's for, because that's what they used instead of holding on to the rigging to sit out and stay. Otherwise you just go back over. And the life jackets in those days weren't like today. And in fact, I don't think they even used life jackets, did they?
Well, God, there's
I
a
don't
lovely
think so.
picture, isn't there? I think it's probably your grandfather and another guy, and they're sailing somewhere in Shoalden, and they're both smoking pipes in jackets, tweed jackets, and leaning at the end of the side of the...
And my grandmother, Ivy, was sailing 1910 in full Victorian length dresses, you know, this sort of thing.
It's in your sister's book, isn't it? There's a picture of Ivy.
That's right, that's right. So this is what they did. So I don't think life jackets in those days, if you've got a full-length ball gown, would work. I just don't think they would.
Some of these lovely brass fittings, which I understand Nick has made, is that right?
Yes, he's made all these. Here we have the step for the mast, and here is the gate. We would put the foot of the mast here, down in the, because it's not a mast that is stepped on the transom, it's stepped on the keel, and it would slot into here. The gate closes, and there we are.
So Richard, she's looking like she's pretty ready to go in the water. Are you hoping to get her sailing and racing possibly this summer?
She will be. The plan is to put her in the water and at least learn how delicate or not may be before we take her down to Torquay. We'll be down there for the Classic Regatta in Torquay, Prince of Wales Cup. I think it's the 12th and 13th of June.
Lovely. Thanks ever so much for showing us through over Clover, and for pointing out some of the fantastic detail that is in the design and the build. She's a beautiful, beautiful craft.
It was really inspiring to see Clover and the fantastic way that she had been restored. And before we left, Richard presented us with an amazing gift.
Connor, I found this sculling around in my garage, which isn't
As you
quite
do.
true, okay? This is a winch from Golden Wings, who is no longer with us.
Yeah.
And it's the winch that is used to lift the keel on a 10-to-1 ratio, so that with one hand you can pull the keel up very, very quickly in your new little boat and then drop it down again. Morgan Giles, special design. You'll see them on all the International 14s, the Teen and Dark 1 designs, which are slightly larger. They're bronze and probably 95 years old.
Wow.
So rather than leave it in the garage, if you can use it, I'd be very pleased
Oh,
to pass it
we
over
would
to you.
love to have it for
Contribution.
Spirit. Thank you so much, Richard.
Welcome.
We will treasure it and we will put it to very good use.
Now the idea here is that the mast, which will be something like this but not this shape, will fit in there, and then there needs to be a gate which goes across there to sort of keep that mast in place. It won't be doing a lot of work because most of the work will be done by stays, but it will be nonetheless keeping the mast stable. And it has to be a gate which can be opened so that the mast can easily be taken down. Now I have this gate from a lovely old boat that used to be down in Cockwood Harbour, but it's the wrong shape. This one is built to be on the thwart like that and the mast to go through there. So what I'm thinking is that if I can alter, doctor, change and use this lovely bronze gate to make something of the shape that I want. That's the plan. So Limpston, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever get there?
What do you want to go to Livingston for? What's the big attraction with Livingston, by the way?
Well, it's like the other side of the estuary, isn't it? It's like mysterious. It's like
That's true.
it's like an adventure. I mean, what do you think they're like over there?
There are dragons, bro.
Maybe when we get to Limpston,
Yeah.
they'll be like there waiting for us with pasties and I don't know. Sometimes, Connor, I think that's just a foolish dream. I just think that's a bit unrealistic sometimes.
Not going to Livingston.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for watching. We keep looking at the water and hoping to launch, but the list of jobs just seems to get longer and longer. And next time, we've got the monumental task of trying to fit this huge lump of metal